Going to call the 1397th Board of Directors regular meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can all stand with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wonderful. I'll have the clerk call roll.
Vice Chair Irwin.
Here.
Director Carhart.
Here.
Director Mount.
Here.
Director Manny. Here. Let the record reflect Vice Chair O'Farrell. Chair O'Farrell is absent.
That's correct. So in his absence, I will be stepping in as chair this evening. So we'll move on to 4. Do we have any presentations, proclamations, or recognitions this evening? Nope. Wonderful. Then we'll move on to 5. I will open up audience public comment on any non-agenda item. So if there's anybody that wishes to speak, it looks like it would only be here on Zoom or digitally on any item that's not on the agenda. You have 3 minutes to address the board. Please know this is not a time of cross communication, but simply for you to address us and give any information on any item you have. Do we have anyone wishing to address the board this evening? No. With that, I'll close public comment and we will move on to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Our agenda is approved. Move on to item 7, consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Motion to approve the consent calendar. Is there a second?
Second.
Wonderful. Is there any further discussion on the consent calendar?
I have a quick question.
Yep.
On the vendor activity report for the bond projects, what are the super signs? Are those the similar? I saw something at the dog park.
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay. And was that something that like Paula recommended, or how did you kind of come across doing that? It looked when I saw the dog park, I was
Yeah.
surprised, but I thought it was very cool.
Yeah. The super signs are for us to be able to inform the public of where we are with the bond projects and have a live update. So it's 5 different signs in different parks. And so we're able to put that out on all of them. And then it's kind of like a bulletin board where you can walk us, look at it. And then we'll be able to use those later for advanced activities. And stuff.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
currently doing them as well that way.
Oh,
But the primary purpose is for the measure data.
is we done a monthly or?
I'm sorry, are we paying for those?
Yes, that was in the vendor report. That's how I came across it.
Okay, I was
Um,
under the impression it was like a rev share.
It will
Type
be,
thing.
yeah, you're
Oh,
upfront
okay.
on it, and then you'll get revenue sharing as those ads. set up.
Oh, okay.
We'll be able to sell the ads.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So is the fees that were paid this past month, are those monthly or are
Nope,
they?
that's just the one-time fee for
Oh,
installation
okay.
and the signs themselves.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions from any board members? Hearing none, great. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Consent calendar is approved. Move on to our agenda items, starting with the monthly Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board report. I believe we have Rachel with us virtually who will update us. Good evening, Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Lee, the chair of the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board. It's good to see everyone again. Just a quick recap. We're a youth-based program that consists of 19 high schoolers, mainly from Bella Vista and Mira Loma, and we aim to develop leadership abilities while offering events and programs to the community. So last week we had our very first in-person meeting, which was super exciting. We can't wait for what's in store ahead for the rest of the year. It's something that FOIAB is just eager to do, just getting back into the community and interacting with people face to face. On that note, FOIAB members will also be volunteering at the Chicken Festival this Saturday, the 18th. We have also integrated back service groups for this term. So every month we will be working with the Orangeville Grange, the Orangeville Food Bank, and the park cleanups. So we're super excited for that. And lastly, we are coming up with holiday drive-by ideas. That's to be announced soon. However, we are really excited for this year's term. That's about it for today. Is there any questions?
Any board members have any questions? Nope. Wonderful. Sounds good. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.
Cheers. Okay. Moving on to 8.2, discussion possible action regarding approval of a social media policy and use of a personal cellular devices for district purposes policy. Do we have staff report?
Yes, thank you. My name is Jennifer Larkin. I'm the Administrative Services Manager for the district. And what you have before you are 2 new policies, a social media policy and a use of personal cellular devices for district purposes policy, which I'm going to shorten to cell phone policy for the duration of the report. These were both reviewed by the Policy Review Committee, both in May and then again in September, on September 2nd. They have been reviewed by the district attorney, the district council, and the draft policies that are attached do include her comments. So we can start with the social media policy. And so the purpose of the policy is to outline protocol and procedures for the use of social media in publicizing any district services and events. In addition, it also addresses responsibilities of employees as well as you, the board, with regard to the use of social media and any district resources that we use to produce social media. It also outlines the responsibilities we have with the Public Records Act and open meeting laws, which is the Brown Act. It goes into some definitions of what social media is, what posts are, what social networking is. And then it talks about who the responsibility lies with for ultimate control of social media, which would be the district administrator or his designee. We do have 2 or 3 staff that currently are managing our social media accounts. The next paragraph, the compliance with the Brown Act. This is something that the committee differed on a bit, and I went into this in the staff report a little bit, and I wanted to. So what you had in your report that's highlighted in yellow was the original language. Director Carhart asked for some clarification on the language. He felt like the following sentence, which I'm going to read, was not clear enough. So let me read it. It says, members of the board, committees, and or legislative body shall not respond to like, share, retweet, or otherwise participate in any published postings or use a platform or any form of electronic communication to respond to, blog, or engage in serial meetings or otherwise discuss, deliberate, or express opinions on any issue within the subject matter jurisdiction of the body on which they serve. So basically, this is to make sure that you all are not responding in a way that would constitute a meeting under the Brown Act. And so Director Carhart, I don't know if you want to discuss your.
Yeah, and you added, I believe, let's see if I can find it here. You added, hang on a second. If doing so would constitute a serial meeting under the Brown Act.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of felt like when the policies start to infringe on board members' actions, really the guiding force is the state laws, you know, the Brown Act. And I don't want to be in a position where not only, where perhaps we do something that's within the Brown Act, but it violates our district policy. And I don't think the staff or the board should be telling us or future board members not to do things unless they cross the state line. So I like what you've added. We differed. I did approve sending this policy on to the board, but I would appreciate that clarification if you so see fit.
And I just wanted to, I did send it to the attorney. I did not get a response before the packet went out, but I did get a response yesterday. So I will just show you what she said. I'll put it up here on the screen. So she just said that what I said was fine. It was in the staff report. And then she just kind of rewrote it a little bit to say members of the board, committees, and or legislative bodies shall not respond to, like, share, retweet, or otherwise participate in any posting that is made or shared by any other board member. She clarified that. Or use a platform, et cetera, all the way to if doing so would constitute a serial meeting under the Brown Act, which is basically what it is. So if that language is acceptable to everyone, I will substitute what's in the draft policy with that language.
And for the benefit of the board, this was added because of the new possibility in social media that we will start talking about something, you know, we see something on
in the
social
comments.
media and we say, oh, I like that, I'm going to vote for that. And then another board member gets on and as soon as you got 3, you're in trouble.
Okay, so we can't like or do anything. Like if we see another board member post something on
Well, as
You
long as.
can't like it, you can't.
As long as it doesn't violate the Brown Act, you absolutely can like a post. But if you're creating something where it's becoming a serial meeting and you're saying, oh, I agree, let's vote yes on that. and
Well,
then
yeah,
some-
yeah, in the
that's
comments or something like
correct.
that. But it says there, you shall not respond to like, share, retweet, or otherwise participate in any post.
If doing so would constitute a serial meeting under the Brown
Got it,
Act, and
okay,
that's the
okay.
crucial.
See, I would think if somebody said, oh, the chicken festival is great, we ought to add a clucking contest. And a couple of us said, I don't think that would violate the Brown Act because we're not taking
Correct.
anything official.
But as soon as we start
But
commenting
if we
together
start
in the
arguing
comment
about it,
section.
yeah, I don't think
okay,
it's
got it.
appropriate at this, and I think it is, and
I like the new
Sure.
paragraph or the additional language. That's great.
Makes it very clear.
Very fair,
It's
yeah.
very succinct. Yeah. How does the board feel about, do you want to vote on these each individually, or do you want to hear the other and vote on them together?
Together.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Do you want me to go through any more of this policy or just move on to the next one? That was the only contentious
has
language.
everybody, other than our committee, had a chance to look it over and no issues with it? And I would say we
Then
probably
let's-
ought to move on to
yeah.
the next issue.
I agree.
All right, so the next one is our cell phone policy. This policy is establishing procedures for employee use of their personal cell phones instead of district issued phones. And prior to, I guess, last year, the way that we issued phones to staff was to give them a phone that the district paid for. With the addition of Microsoft Teams, which we started using during the pandemic, we now have an app that you can put on your personal phone that allows you to do all your district business from your personal phone without actually having to give out your personal phone number or any of your personal text message number or whatever. People can just interact with you on this app directly. And so because of that, there are staff who would prefer to use their personal phone instead of a district issued phone where they have to carry two phones. Not everybody wants to do that. We're not going to require that everyone does that. But what this policy does is just outline the process that we want people to go through and all the different regulations and things that people will have to adhere to if they do use their personal cell phone instead of a district issued phone. At your June meeting, I believe you approved the stipend from the MOU process of $40 for employees that want to do this and get rid of their district phone. That's already been established. And so the rest of the policy just talks about how it all works and whether, and then attached to that is the form that people have to fill out if they want to request using their own personal cell phone. And there
And
was some language, I should go back a little bit. There was some language that Director Carhart wanted me to send back to the attorney to see if it needed to be changed. And I did, and she agreed. And so that language is included in the draft, and it just talks about excessive personal calls, emails, or text messaging while at work, regardless of the device, can interfere with employee productivity and be distracting to others. Employees are encouraged to handle personal matters on non-work time when possible. I think the original language said cannot use it for personal work at all.
Yeah, and I like what you put. I mean, I might have added to it, not spending excessive time on personal stuff. But as we all know, if you're using your personal phone at work, you're going to get calls from mom or your neighbor or this or that, and it may be something you want to respond to or need to respond to. And I'm sure everybody that is at work spends a little bit of time on occasional personal business. So rather than setting it up so everybody fails, just, keep
100%
it
agree.
at a minimum.
Yes.
You're at work, you're on work time, you're getting paid for work, so keep it at a minimum. If somebody calls you, do your business, get off the phone.
And that's it for the two policies. Are there any questions on either one of them or language that you?
great.
Well, I would make a motion that we adopt the policy with the two amendments. I have to say that the committee recommended the rest of the policy. We went over it with a fine tooth comb, and this was all that the two of us came up with. So
There's a motion. Is there a second?
One second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Wonderful. And with that, we're going to move to board and staff reports. We'll start with the board of directors. Secretary Tamiani, do you have anything to report?
I do not.
Director Melts,
I do not.
Director Carhart.
I probably should spare Mike. There's a little bit of controversy going on over the Chicken Festival and the alcohol licenses, but I have all the faith that staff and Mike will get it worked out in the next week.
If you need a caterer's license, I might know someone who can provide some champagne.
Yeah,
for
we'll
that.
have champagne there.
Well, maybe more licenses.
The other thing I wanted to mention, other thing I wanted to mention was and Raymond James, you might want to mention on this too, the meeting we had this morning with our project managers. Very disappointing news that we probably won't make the November, groundbreaking or whatever for the park work. Seems the county, every time we turn around, has got new reviews or new extortions out of us. And one of the latest was they want us to repave half the street all the way around the park, not only Park Avenue, but Fair Oaks Boulevard and California and Temescal. Work that if the county road department was doing their job, those roads wouldn't be a mess, but they're laying it on bond money, park bond money. I don't think the public expected it to be spent that way. And, moreover, every time Cala, our landscape architects, turn around for a review, there's a new review. Each review spawns 3 new reviews, and those spawn 9 new reviews. So I'm personally infuriated with the way the county operates. It's not only us, but you talk to some of the merchants in the village that have tried to improve their properties, and it's nothing but red tape and obstacles. So I'm proposing I'm cooperating with Mike, but I want to have a meeting with Supervisor Desmond and
Well, I was just going to say, Mike and I, Director O'Farrell, had a meeting with him
You
last
did.
weekend.
you did.
Yeah. And that was definitely one of the things that we discussed.
Well, it doesn't seem to have helped, at least not in the last week.
Well,
Building department is holding up things. And the worst part about it, I can't believe it. Every individual wall and item, the county is requiring a separate permit for them. Every segment of retaining wall, they want a separate permit, separate fee, and separate review.
Well, and that's not acceptable. So I mean, that's what we need to get to the bottom of. And if it has to be a full county board supervisor vote, I mean, I think we should absolutely be aiming for that because it really is pretty outrageous. That's
ridiculous.
outrageous. Yeah. So it's very
So-
disappointing, but that was the update. However, the good news, I think there's by August 1st, they say some demolition, right?
Yeah.
Or October
um,
1st, rather.
October 1st. There were
So
some
that's
some
something.
surprises there. 2 surprises were there wasn't just one layer of asphalt flooring with asbestos in it. There were multiple layers. So
Wow.
that entailed a little more cost and a little slowdown. The other thing was they were planning to abate the drywall, which has 1% asbestos in it. But because there's the outdoor dining across the way at the brew pub, they want to be extra safe and they'll apply a different process, which surprisingly is more expensive. So all of that, I think, is a delay and additional cost to get that done and out of there. From my point of view, I thought something was interesting. They're going to remove several trees, I think 3 trees that are in the vicinity of the amphitheater. I believe they're the oak trees in the Rotary Arbor. I have no objection to that myself. They're fairly young valley oaks, but I think we can expect that when the public starts to see a few trees be cut in the park, they're going to overreact, thinking we're going to cut everything. So I
Who's
think we
they?
need the general public. No, they
no,
just.
you said they are.
Oh, when
removing
the
trees.
demolition crew takes
Okay.
that out. We already have issues with the artwork. We don't want issues with the tree people. So that's gonna have to have some public information to alleviate fears, I think.
Okay,
That's
very
it.
good. There's nothing for me. So staff.
I believe not.
I do not.
No, nothing from staff.
Okay, wonderful. Well,
I just want one question. Where are we at with La Vista?
Because we were supposed to have an answer by this meeting, right?
Yeah, La Vista is still in the school board's hand, or school district's hand. Their attorney's still.
So
It's in the school. district.
do we have a new ETA or?
No, I did not call him today or talk to him today, but I will talk to him this week. We'll get back to you.
Okay, well, with that, then I am going to make a motion to go into closed session so we can, for public employee evaluation of the district administrator.
Second
Is there a motion?
and a second. Oh,
I got you just a second, but I would like to say a few words, is it possible?
I'm sorry, public comment is closed. Sorry about that. There's a motion to go into closed session. Is there a second?
Oh, I second.
I'll second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. We are in closed session, so all of those not